Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 8, text 15. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gataha. Now, Krishna in the previous verse talked about attaining him by the easiest of the process of bhakti yoga. Ananya chetaha satatam yomam smarati nityashaha tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yoginaha. And this verse follows it up and says that the result you attain with bhakti is the highest. Paramam gataha. It is the highest perfection. Samsiddhihi. People talk about what is the ultimate perfection of life. And Bhagavad Gita is defining that ultimate perfection. If somebody is asking you, oh, you read Bhagavad Gita? And you say, yes. Can you tell me in one line or in one verse, what is the ultimate perfection of life? Some siddhi. Then you should quote this verse. 8.15. Krishna defines some siddhi. What is that? Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. So, once to go back to Godhead is the ultimate perfection. And why? Because once you attain the Supreme Lord in his personal planet, Mam Upetya, Punarjanma Napnuvanti, there is no birth again. Punarjanma Napnuvanti, he will not take birth again in this material world, which is certified as Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Usually, a place of Alayam means a place of worship, a sacred place, a happy place. But here, it is an unhappy place, Dukkhalayam. And people try to find some pleasure out of that place of distress. But Krishna is saying, you may try to find some pleasure and settle down. You may think, but it is Ashashvatam. Any moment it can come, the death can come and take you away. The so called comfort zone is ended. Once you go back to Krishna, once you go back to Krishna Loka, there is no birth again into this material world. Punarjanman apnuvanti, this world which is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. And who can go there? This Mahatmas. That is called Samsiddhim Paramam Gataha, highest perfection of life. So Krishna says, anyone who comes to me. So it's interesting because Krishna can be perceived anywhere because Krishna is there everywhere by dint of his energies. When we go to temple, Krishna is there in his deity form. When we chant his holy names, Krishna is there. But still Krishna is saying, one who comes to me, Mam Upetya. That means even though Krishna is everywhere, but still he has his abode. The difference between Krishna and an ordinary living being is that we can be at one place only, but Krishna can be in his abode as well as everywhere. So there is a speciality of, that's the speciality of Krishna. And there is speciality about his abode. where one who becomes Krishna conscious and thinks of Krishna at the time of death. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. Yah prayati tyajan deham sayati paramam gatim. Again, that paramam gatim word is used. One who thinks of Krishna at the time of death, he'll go back to Krishna. That is the ultimate perfection of life. Ante Narayana Smritihi. The scriptures are defining what is the perfection. So, why is it significant? Because when you, that means you are able to think of Krishna, means your bhava has to be with Krishna. Otherwise, at the time of death, your bhava will be with your cat or dog or some inclination that you have, that you developed, some desire that you developed. Say you're building a big, big house and you are about to complete and you are dying. Oh, you'll be thinking about that house. Or you're leaving your spouse alone with so much distress, and you'll be thinking, your mind will be full of thoughts of your spouse or your pet cat or dog. But the problem is, you will become one of that living entity, like that living entity in the next body, which is a great danger. Bhayat, this is a great danger of this life. But if you cultivate Krishna consciousness, you will go back to Krishna, where you will enjoy without any distress of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So it is said that for a devotee who has attained perfection, first he goes to Bhaumi Vrindavan and then goes to Goloka Vrindavan. What is that? What is that Bhaumi Vrindavan? Currently, at this time, Krishna is enacting his pastimes in this material universe, in one of the material worlds, in Vrindavan, in one of the universes. His birth ceremony is going on in one universe, in one Vrindavan. His Kurukshetra event is going on. His Damodar Leela is going on in another universe. So Nitya Leela is going on. Krishna's Nitya Leela goes on in this material plane. Krishna has left this material planet, this earth, this Vrindavan doesn't mean that Krishna has left and gone to his abode forever. He's enacting his pastimes in all the universes, one after the other. So it is said that once a devotee becomes qualified to go to the spiritual Goloka Vrindavan, first he is sent to a Vrindavan, Bhaumi Vrindavan, in this one of these material universes where Krishna is enacting his pastimes, to get trained up under a Vrajavasi, a Gopi or a Gopa, either as a parent or as a cowherd boy or a cowherd girl or as a cow, any living entity, because they are full of love of Krishna. They are trained, and then in the next birth, they'll be taken back to the Goloka Vrindavan, where Krishna's eternal pastimes are going on. That is the highest perfection. We belong there. We are unnecessarily taking on different personalities, thinking, oh, I belong to this particular community, therefore I need to fight for it. I will die for it, without understanding who we really are. You may die, and in the next birth, you will take birth in an opposite community which you will fight for against this community. This is the ignorance of the living entity Bhagavad Gita is trying to erase. Aspire to go back to Krishna. Don't aspire to fight for any causes, so called wonderful causes in this material world. So, that Dhamma is further described in the scriptures particularly in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sanatan Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains to Sanatan Goswami the nature of that spiritual sky where we we have to aspire to go. So, beyond this material world is a spiritual sky. The sky we see is a material sky. This is contained within this material universe. And there are innumerable universes contained within the material sky. And after that is the spiritual sky. And in that spiritual sky, there are many Vaikuntha planets. The chief of that Vaikuntha planet is Goloka Vrindavan. So the speciality is that in this material creation, this universe have limited length and breadth, even though even that we cannot find the end of it, isn't it? But even that has limited, we can measure it. But as far as Vaikuntha planets are concerned, they are spiritual and there is no limit to their dimensions. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informs Sanatana Goswami that the length and breadth of every Vaikuntha planet is thousands of billions of miles. That means no one can measure any Vaikuntha planet's actual extent. It's unlimitedly expanded, and in each of them there are innumerable residents serving Narayana, and they are full in six opulences: wealth, strength, knowledge, beauty, fame, renunciation. And in each of this planet, the chief living entity worshipped by all the living entities is Narayana, who is Krishna's expansion. And Goloka Vrindavan is like the chief planet among all of this. Like all the Vaikuntha planets are like the petals of a lotus flower, and the principal part of the lotus, the center of all the Vaikunthas, is called Krishna Loka or Goloka Vrindavana. Even the Devatas, the greatest Devatas like Brahma and Shiva, they cannot see the Vaikuntha planets or even estimate their number or vast extent of the Vaikuntha planets. That's confirmed in Bhagavatam. No one can estimate the length and breadth of all the Vaikuntha planets. Even Ananta, the incarnation of the Lord's opulence of strength, cannot ascertain any limit to the Lord's potency or to the area of the different Vaikuntha planets. So, Lord Brahma confirms this when he was deceived by Krishna. He was bewildered by Krishna. When he wanted to bewilder Krishna, to test boy Krishna, Krishna in fact in turn bewildered Brahma. And Brahma came to his senses and he realized Krishna is none other than my Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, playing his part as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, in an ordinary, seemingly ordinary village. Because the Lord, when He comes, He brings down His abode as well. And it might look like one of the places of this world. So Brahma prays, O Lord, no one can know or explain the extent of your Vaikuntha planets or how you expand your Yogamaya energy throughout the three worlds. And then he says, Gunatmanastepi gunan vimatum hitavatirnasya ka ishiresya kalena yairva vimitah sukalpair bhupam chavahake mihikadyubhasaha. What it means is, so we are advancing in this material world. Every day we are advancing in material knowledge. The scientists, the learned educators, technology, everything is expanded every day, and they can come to a stage where they could count the molecules or molecules of the snow in the sky, or the number of stars in space, which they say is infinite now. They can probably define that number in the future. Brahma says, even if they did that, they cannot understand your glories, like how you descend to this earth with your abode, or how you enact your pastimes, how this universe has your innumerable transcendental potencies, and what are your wonderful qualities. Nobody can ascertain, even though they may come to the end of material knowledge. Because Krishna is Adhokshaja, he does not come under the purview of knowledge between A and Ksha. Adhah krita akshaja gnana. The knowledge you may acquire between A and Ksha, A, I, I, U, like that, up to Ksha, all the material knowledge is contained within that Akshaja Gnana, but Krishna is Adhokshaja. We cannot ascertain. And Krishna's abode also nobody can ascertain. And the chief of that abode is Goloka Vrindavan. So Brahma, he was revealed this glory of Krishna. And then he prayed like that. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further explains that Vrindavana, just like the potency of Krishna is unlimited, the potency of Vrindavan is also unlimited. Like, for example, Vrindavan on this planet is about 32 square miles in area. Yet, in one part of this Vrindavan, all the Vaikunthas exist. Just go figure. That is how inconceivably wonderful Vrindavan is. The area of the present day Vrindavan contains 12 forests, vanas, and covers about 84 kroshas or 168 miles in area. And Vrindavan city is estimated to be about 16 kroshas or 32 square miles. How all the Vaikunthas can exist there is beyond material calculation. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus concluded that the potencies and opulences of Krishna are unlimited. Whatever he told Sanatan Goswami was only partial, but by such a partial presentation, one can try to imagine the whole. So see how wonderful Goloka Vrindavana is. Bhagavatam also explains what activities go on in the Vaikuntha planets. How everybody is charmed by Narayana, or in Vrindavana it is Krishna. And they are so much eager to render service to Krishna that they don't have any inclination to even engage in union with their partners. Even though the it is said that the men and women of the spiritual world are exquisitely beautiful. There is no comparison to that beauty in this material world, even of the damsels of higher planets. The inhabitants of the spiritual world are so beautiful, but still they are so attracted to Krishna and the service to Krishna that they consider that kind of engagement as is nothing. So that is the nature of the activity of the spiritual world, where Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanam Api Vamshi Priya Sakhi, where every word is a song, every day is a festival, every step is a dance. It is full of activity, full of energy, full of festivity, full of enjoyment, without any inebriety. Like, for example, in this world, if you enjoy, say you go to a party and drink, You have to suffer the consequence, isn't it? Headache or bad health, or you enjoy a nice, wonderful meal. It comes with its own baggage. So every enjoyment in this world is inebriated with something. You cannot enjoy union with somebody without resulting in a bad consequence. It could be pregnancy or it could be something else, but there is no such inebriety in the spiritual world. Pure enjoyment exists. That is the nature of the spiritual world. In this material world, the enjoyment is like people say sometimes when we say Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, people say, oh, you have a very pessimistic view of this world. Oh, this world is so much enjoyment. Oh, see, so much to look forward to. I have this planned tonight. I have that planned tomorrow. I have this travel planned on the weekend. I'm excited about my life. But actually, the Shastra says it is like for example, you are given a bowl of sweet rice and you like sweet rice and you are eating. And let's say it is sprinkled with particles of sand. And the moment you put in your mouth, you bite and you biting into the sand particles. It feels so horrible. That's the kind of enjoyment. Yes, you're eating sweet rice, but there is so much of sand. If you are really honest, you will feel it. The kind of enjoyment in this world, especially youngsters cannot understand. The moment you come to the middle age and old age, then you will realize what kind of enjoyment this material world is. You may enjoy in your youth without understanding the consequences of that enjoyment. And that also illusory enjoyment, where they are struggling so hard for a trifle of happiness, for a weekend party. They have to struggle so hard. All of that. So that Shastra is saying this is the kind of enjoyment. It's actually dukkha, you're biting into the sand. Or the other example it is given is that of a camel's enjoyment. Camel, it likes to eat the cactus leaves. They are full of thorns. And you give them nice fruit, it doesn't like it. It'll spit it out. It doesn't like the nice sweet or nice sour sweet kind of taste of fruits. It likes to eat cactus leaves, which has full of thorns. You know why? It's not the taste is coming from that cactus itself, but because the thorns are scratching the surface of its tongue and it's rupturing and producing blood, and it is mixing that and thinking that is tasty. That is the kind of enjoyment. We have to work so hard to get any enjoyment in this world, and that we consider, oh, it's a great enjoyment. Avidya karma samjnanya tritiya shaktirishyate. Vishnu Shakti para prokta kshetragnakhya tadha para avidya karma samjnanya tritiya shaktirishyate. The Shastra say that this material world is like the tritiya shakti, the third energy of the Lord. What are his two energies? The first energy is the spiritual world. The second energy is his living entities who are also spiritual. And the third energy is this material world, which is characterized by avidya and karma, meaning full of ignorance and hard work. So, everywhere in scriptures it is certified. This world is full of hard work. Happiness is illusion. Why it is illusion? Because it comes in the garb of happiness and lures you into becoming conditioned in this world and stay forever in this world, thinking you are happy while you are actually suffering. So, in one of the purports of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada points out how this material world, even great personalities, sometimes become entangled, thinking, I need to achieve something in this world, without forgetting that there is higher reality. Even the personalities like Vishwamitra and Vasishtha got before they became, of course, realized and all that. But they were so learned. For the sake of Harishchandra, who is the son of Trishanku, so that Trishanku wanted to go to the higher planets in his present body, and the demigods opposed, and Vishwamitra helped him, and all of that. So, and then there was Harishchandra, and there was some disagreement how to perform his sacrifice, and so on and so forth. So, this Vishwamitra and Vasishtha, they were so inimical. Somebody supporting somebody, and somebody supporting somebody else. And this Vishwamitra, he was actually Kshatriya, and by undergoing severe austerities, he became a Brahmana. But Vasishtha would not agree to accept him as such. So what happened was, once Harishchandra performed a yagna for which Vishwamitra was the priest. But Vishwamitra, he became angry at Harishchandra for some fault he did, and he took away all his possessions, claiming them as dakshina, or kind of his contribution to the priest. And so Vasishtha did not like that. And therefore there was a fight that arose between Vasishtha and Vishwamitra. And the fighting became so severe that each of them cursed severely, like, may you become a bird like this. And the other one cursed, may you become a duck like this. And so both of them became in the category of birds and continued fighting for many years. Similarly, great mystic yogi like Saubhari Muni, he became a victim of sense gratification. So Prabhupada says in that purport of Bhagavatam, this is the material world. Abrahma bhuvanal loka punaravartino Arjuna. Within this material world, however elevated one may be in material qualities, one must suffer these conditions of janma mrityu jara vyadhi, birth, death, old age and disease. Therefore, Krishna says that this material world is simply miserable, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. And the Bhagavatam says, padam padam yad vipadam. At every step there is danger. So Prabhupada concludes there that therefore, because Krishna consciousness movement provides the opportunity for the human being to get out of this material world, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, this movement is the greatest benediction in human society. So I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada.